Hello very much. My name is Calico. I'm going to try and keep this as quiet as possible because I don't like videos where it feels like people are yelling at you all the time. That's what I'm going to talk about today, actually. Um, I haven't uploaded for a long time to this channel, unfortunately. I would say it's because I'm busy, but it's actually because I haven't wanted to. I just haven't vibed with it. I took down a bunch of my older videos except for two, and even then I might take those down as well. I don't really know what to do for like visuals and stuff, so I figured I'd give you something pretty to look at. And I also apologize if I'm either too quiet or you can like hear my music or whatever. I don't know. There's too many factors that go into making videos, which is like why I don't want to do it. Because in theory, it's fun to get my voice out there or whatever. But I also sometimes just really don't feel like putting in the work. But I have a lot of things that I want to talk about that I don't think a single other soul will ever hear, but I just want to like get it out there, I guess, a little bit, in case like maybe someone is feeling the same way I do. I want to talk about social media a lot in general and like the way that this platform and like other platforms are designed, because it's something that I've really noticed recently, I guess you could say. YouTube has felt like really stale, I guess, for the last month or so. I thought that maybe just creators that I like weren't uploading, and that like I maybe was the problem. Like I wasn't finding videos that interested me enough or whatever. So I thought that maybe it was like a me issue. And then I asked a couple of my friends, and they said the same thing almost, as to where YouTube feels really stale. And I feel like there's a lot of factors as to why that is. I think the watch later option on YouTube, it seems useful, but I actually think it's evil in a way. I think that when you get the option to postpone like you watching a video, I guess, it like, I don't know, it starts to accumulate and like pile up. Like on Letterboxd, they have a feature where you can mark movies that you want to watch. But movies, you know, not everybody has the time in their day to sit down and watch like a full 2-hour movie or whatever. And so they have to like plan when they're gonna do that. But I mean, most people have the time of day to watch like a 15-minute YouTube video, like while they eat lunch or breakfast or whatever, or like while they're working on something. And, you know, when you're piling up all of these videos and stuff, I think that it kind of loses the meaning maybe a little bit. It's like if, I mean, I've never had TikTok before, and I'll get into that, I guess, a little bit. But it's like if you saw a TikTok and you were interested in like the first couple seconds of it, but you didn't have time to watch the TikTok, so you put it in a watch later list. But in the same amount of time that you could have spent watching that one, maybe 30-second video, you know, you spend that time adding more and more stuff to that watch later list. And eventually it's like, you know, what are we doing? Like, all the time that you're using putting videos in your watch later, you could actually be using that time to watch those videos. And, you know, it all comes down to just like scrolling, and it feels miserable. And the thing that has made me realize why scrolling is such like a bad habit, especially in my life, is advertisements. I hate being advertised to, as I'm sure most people do. And on YouTube especially, it's felt very prevalent to where I'm getting really long ads before videos. I'm getting unskippable ads. Even like on the recommendeds tab, even on my subscriptions tab, there's like stationary ads that I have to like scroll past. And it's like, I feel like I can't do anything on YouTube without someone trying to get in my face. And I hate that feeling. And even during certain videos, especially if they're by bigger creators, to where it's like, you know, I'm enjoying a video essay until all of a sudden, oh wow, it's actually sponsored. And, you know, it feels weird thinking about how the website started, I guess, even if I wasn't around for it, obviously. I'm still pretty young. But, I've been watching YouTube my almost my entire like conscious life. So, you know, I grew up watching stuff on here, and it's just nothing kind of like how I remember. I was a nerd when I was a kid, so I was really only watching like video game gameplays and stuff. But I mean, I wasn't watching like video essays on politics or whatever when I was, you know, like 8. But I don't know, it's like I'm not sure how to fully articulate what I mean, but it's like I don't see videos kind of how like the one I'm making right now anymore. I actively like search for them, but I can't find them, and it's like kind of frustrating to me. Like, I could watch so many videos about just somebody talking about something that they like or that's been on their mind. And I have a couple creators like that. But I don't know, it just feels so difficult now. You know, like I don't sometimes I'm not in the mood to watch the 4-hour-long video essay that I've had in my watch later for 3 years or whatever. And I don't know, it gets to a point where maybe even watching videos, when you open the app to have it be like a distraction, it starts to feel like work. It starts to feel like a chore. It feels like you're obligated to watch these videos. And I feel like that's kind of the goal of these social media companies, to where they want you to feel obligated to use their platform. That's why I kind of really hate Instagram, is because of the stories feature, to where it feels like, you know, oh my God, if you're not using this app every single day, you're gonna miss out on everything that your friends are doing, or everything that celebrities are doing, or artists that you follow. Like, you're gonna miss out on stuff that they post because it'll disappear by the next day. And so, you know, Instagram, it is designed for you to use it every day. It's designed to become part of your routine. You know, you open Instagram like you open it in the morning, almost like a newspaper, and you use it to check updates on your friends or celebrities or whatever. And then you use it to fill the dead space throughout the day. So like, if you're waiting in line for something, you open Instagram. Or, you know, if you're, I don't know, on the toilet, you open Instagram. It's like, we can't just sit with ourselves anymore. Like, Instagram is just part of that. It's designed to fill those really mundane and boring parts of the day, until those mundane and boring parts, you don't even realize how long they've gone on for, or how long you've laid in bed in the morning procrastinating getting up and starting the day, and now it's already like 1 p.m. and you've been watching Instagram Reels since 9. You know, again, what made me realize how much I dislike Instagram is advertisements, where it's like I would scroll for a while, and I mean, I would get like ad after paid sponsorship after another ad and then another sponsorship, until I got like another video that was just like normal. And then after I passed the one normal video, I have to scroll past, like 4 or 5 more of those advertisements again. And even if it only takes me half a second, maybe, to do that, I'm still scrolling. I'm still looking through the piles of shit in order to find something that might interest me, that I might want to watch. And that's the same thing with YouTube. You open it to fill the void in the day when maybe you're eating or you're like working on something else and you need something in the background. Like it's background noise. That's what it is. That's what YouTube has become. I feel like, there will be people out there I've seen in comment sections on videos kind of similar to what I'm talking about right now, where it's like, I'm one of those freaks that pays full attention to whatever video I'm watching or whatever, haha. But there's this part of me that's like, you're still opening the app to begin with and scrolling on it to find these videos. And I mean, if you're commenting that under a video about doom scrolling, no matter how you format it in your head, you're still doom scrolling. Like, we are no better than each other. Just because, maybe one person does it somewhat differently, or they only open YouTube when they're eating dinner versus, somebody else who opens it only while they're working, or somebody who only opens it while they're cleaning. Like, we're still all doom scrolling and taking that time to find a video to put on, to, even if we're not fully engaged with it in that moment, we're still absorbing it, we're hearing it. I'm boring. I'm sorry. I'm a communications major in college, and I actually really, really enjoy it. And it's something that I'm super fascinated by, and especially the difference between hearing and listening. I feel like 90% of people maybe that watch YouTube are hearing it, but they're not listening to it. And it's like, I am included in that 90%. I watch YouTube while I'm working, or I'll put on like ASMR while I'm writing, but I'm not actually listening to it. And I feel like a lot of commentary YouTube, especially, and like video essayists, I say in quotes, I guess, it's almost like, they can say things and have like a really smart way of saying it and be very educated on their topic, or uneducated on their topic. They could not know what they're talking about at all, but just the words and the vocabulary that they use to kind of elevate what they're saying. Somebody could say something horrible and like have a horrible take on something. I've seen this personally. I won't provide examples, but I've seen videos where somebody will say something really off-putting, and everyone will just kind of agree with it in the comments or whatever. And I've had moments where I've taken like a double take while I'm like working on whatever, and I'm hearing what this person is saying, and I'm kind of like, wait, hold on, rewind a little bit, and then I actually listen to it, and I'm like, wait, that either makes no sense or is incredibly offensive, or it's just like not a well-informed thing to be saying. But because most of their audience really isn't paying attention to the video to begin with, they can almost kind of get away with it. And specifically, I guess what I'm talking about here is commentary YouTube and like the recycling of it. It's like one person will make one really well-informed video, and then that will spawn maybe 20 other videos on the same topic with the same points, just paraphrased differently. So it's still their own video, technically, but they're really not changing anything or adding anything to the discussion. I feel like a lot of the people that maybe phrase themselves as video essayists or commentary YouTubers are actually just like a weirdly repackaged reaction YouTuber, if that makes sense, if what I'm saying makes any sense. And I feel like these videos that I'm talking about in particular, the ones that feel the same, that are recycled over and over again, these are the videos that end up in the watch later landfill that are meant to waste your time because they're not actually saying anything. And so if you're just putting it on in the background while you eat or work, you're not actually missing out on anything, but you can act like you've been well informed and you can act educated and feel less guilty about consuming that content. Honestly, and I mean, unfortunately, this is just a subgenre of YouTube that doesn't really interest me as much anymore, but I feel like you'd be getting more out of watching somebody play video games than you would these commentary YouTubers, because you'd be engaging with something that maybe interests you. You'd be getting somebody's blind reaction or fresh perspective or genuine commentary on what they are presently observing. It's more real, it's more reactional versus this, 20-minute edited, like, kind of bloated video essay that's really not saying anything. I feel like there's still personality to be found in, like, maybe some gaming videos or whatever. I don't necessarily agree with what I just said. I think that there are genuinely some very good commentary videos. There are some people that I really enjoy on this platform. The first person that comes to mind is Jenny Nicholson. I really, really, really love her videos because they are on such random topics that she is very passionate about and very interested in, and the humor keeps you engaged to where I can sit down and watch one of her 4-hour-long videos without working on something or having something else to be my distraction, because of the way that she presents information and uses humor, and it doesn't feel lazy or recycled. It feels genuine because it's like it comes from like a place of passion, and that's what I admire about creators like her. And I don't know, I feel like if YouTube was kind of more of that, I think it'd be great. And I'm not saying that everybody needs to, release really well thought out, educated, understood video essays all the time. I just feel like a lot of the content on here right now especially is very like viewer oriented instead of creator oriented, to where it's like, how can I engage with the most people? What will people watch even if I'm not interested in this topic? It's like how in high school I love writing. Writing is one of my favorite hobbies, and so I would write a lot of essays, obviously, in high school, and all of these essays I would feel miserable working on because they were on topics, on things I wasn't really interested in or didn't really care about that much. But then I would use my free time to write a story or even maybe like an essay on just a topic that I was interested in at that time, and I would feel so much more motivated to work on it and want to write it because I actually liked what I was writing about. And so I feel like if more people maybe made videos based on things that they actually really, really enjoyed, they would enjoy more of the process of creation. But unfortunately, YouTube is so monetarily focused right now to where I don't think people can do that, especially creators maybe that have like more strict contracts or like ad deals. I don't really know how that stuff works. But I mean, if somebody's putting out these like kind of like reaction video essays that I'm talking about, and all of a sudden they take like 3 months off to work on their passion project on like, I don't know, the history of airplanes or something, I could see that maybe it doesn't click with the audience that they've built up over time. So it's not like a lot of these people that have been making this content can easily switch over, and I recognize that as well. I feel like there's a lot of nuance to what I'm saying right now, and I guarantee you, I really don't want to edit these videos. If I'm going to do more of these, I want to make them as low effort as possible. I don't want to worry about, like, trying to edit it down and write what I'm saying ahead of time and phrase it in a way that I feel like is just inoffensive enough that maybe every person that watches this video will go, okay. Because maybe I will say things, unfortunately, maybe I will say things that I like look back on and I think, wow, I really don't agree with that. Or wow, I really don't resonate with what I said there. And I think I could have added a lot more nuance to that. Or maybe there's points that I'm forgetting. And maybe somebody will watch this and think, I don't agree with what he said there, and point that out. And I feel like there's a certain level of shame for me to where obviously I want people to agree with what I'm saying, but also I'm kind of just word vomiting right now. I'm getting all of my thoughts out, and maybe I don't agree with all of them. Maybe if I took 2 more seconds to think about it, I would agree with it more. But I also just think that these are my honest thoughts of like where YouTube and social media is right now. And I have more that I want to get into, kind of, especially about like short form content. So like, I've never had TikTok before. I've never had a TikTok account. I've never wanted to have a TikTok account. But I guarantee you, if I downloaded TikTok and I started using it, and then I started following creators that maybe are only on TikTok, I would never want to delete it, because then I would feel that FOMO of, if I delete this app, then I will lose touch with these things that interest me. But the thing is that it's really another watch later situation to where these things might interest me. What if there's something else on this app for me that I just haven't found yet? And ew, I didn't know that was a thing. Okay. I just have the Minecraft background just so it's not like a black screen. I didn't know what else to do. But like, oh my gosh. Oh yes, I was gonna talk about Twitter, my favorite social media app. I made a Twitter in, I think, September of 2022. And I remember I would use it maybe for about 3 months after that, after making it. And so I used Twitter for only a couple of months. And I remember when I had Twitter, I would scroll endlessly. Like, I would literally be on Twitter for like a really long time. And I was really ashamed of myself to the point where, and this is kind of the only time where I've ever done it and then stuck to it, is I didn't delete my Twitter. I just logged out of my account and didn't log back in. And for the longest time, whenever somebody would ask me or I would talk about social media or whatever, I would go, oh my gosh, Twitter's just awful. Especially because, Twitter has a reputation for being very like divisive and like people getting really hostile. But recently, I've been using Twitter more often. I started back in February, I guess, I was looking for something, and then I created something. Like, I like to think of it as art, but it's really not. But I created something that I wanted to share with more people, and I posted it to my Tumblr, and I posted it to my Twitter. And ever since I started using Twitter again, since February to now, when I'm posting this, or whatever, recording this, I've not had a single, actually maybe one, I haven't really had a single negative experience on Twitter. Everybody has just been so kind to me. Everybody is so nice. And I feel like that's the sweet spot of social media. And I cannot believe I'm saying this about Elon Musk's Twitter. But, because genuinely, I mean, if we were to have another conversation about this, I would have a lot more to say. I'm just talking about my experiences in a vacuum right now. Genuinely, I have had such a great time on this platform of interacting with like-minded people, especially because in real life, I am presently very like isolated socially, to where I can't interact with other people that have similar interests to me in my community. And it does suck, but I've always kind of been like a more solitary person, so I don't really mind that much. But of course, I'm still human, so I want that social connection. And so just interacting with people on Twitter and having these really lovely conversations. And I've even had one, like, I don't, I'll be honest, I don't like the word oomph. There's something like kind of weird about it to me. It feels like I just want to call people my friends, even if we haven't had a single conversation. I just want to say like, oh, that's my friend, or that's like my friend from Twitter. But I guess I have one friend off of Twitter that I've had so many genuine, really lovely conversations with. And I've had even more people where I've had just really lovely interactions with them. And I would love for that to keep happening. You know, I'm very lucky that I haven't had really any bad experiences on Twitter so far. Just because I really try hard to not engage with things that make me upset. And so if I see something that like makes me sad or makes me angry, I just tell myself like it's not worth my energy, and I don't reply to it. I don't comment on it or anything. I just leave it alone, because I know that if I were to reply and be like, oh my God, this is so stupid, or you're so dumb, or whatever, I would just be inviting more of that kind of negativity, and more people would be like open to blocking me or arguing with me online. And that's just really not what I'm looking for, because that's not why I use social media. I use social media to be social, to meet other people that like the same things as me. I don't really want to use it to argue with people or to like get into drama and stuff, because that's just not my thing, you know? I know that some people are entertained by that, like, what is it? Rage baiting, I think. To where it's like, that's what people will use it for. And you know what? Sure, whatever entertains you, I guess. But I know that nobody is immune to propaganda. I also think nobody is immune to rage bait. But it's whether or not you choose to interact with that rage bait, I guess, that like defines you as a person, almost, to where it's like, yeah, there are things definitely that are probably rage bait that I've seen that I've gotten angry at, but I just choose not to reply to them if I recognize that I'm getting angry. And I'm not saying that I'm doing it right or whatever, and that I'm like the best social media user, or I'm the nicest Twitter user ever, or whatever. That's not what I'm trying to get at. I don't want it to seem that like almost like a holier than thou situation. I just want to share sort of my experience and share what works for me. And so maybe that can benefit other people with like sort of the mindset that I'm talking about, of like, I guess, really not trying to care as much. Because like, unfortunately, yes, Twitter does enable me to doom scroll. You know, I recognize that I am on Twitter probably more often again than I would like to be. But the difference between this time and the first time I had Twitter is that before, I was looking for just something to fill that void, something to scroll, something to look at so I wouldn't have to do anything else. But now I use it purposefully to try to find friends, to make friends, to interact with people that like things that I like, you know, and I feel like I enjoy that so much more. And that's something that I don't think you can do. Again, I don't think Twitter is the perfect social media app. That's not what I'm saying at all. I think there's a lot of very vile stuff on there as well. But where I think Twitter succeeds, where something like Instagram or YouTube or anything like that fails, is to where, you know, you can leave comments on Instagram reels and Instagram posts and YouTube videos and stuff, but I feel like you never sort of get that true like connection with somebody, because Instagram will promote you videos and posts that are really popular, and they won't promote you videos and posts from people that maybe only have like 3 followers. And, you know, a lot of my For You page on Twitter is people on the same like sub Twitters, I think. Is that what it's called? I don't know. I'm still learning a lot of the new Twitter language. I only learned what soft blocking was like a month ago. I genuinely like, there's so much new vocabulary that comes with using Twitter as well, that I'm trying to still adapt to, I guess. And I feel sort of out of the loop almost. I feel stupid. I don't want to seem stupid. But anyways, a lot of my For You page is the sub-Twitters that I interact with. And in those sub-Twitters, obviously, there's going to be people that aren't like well-known figures on Twitter as a whole, but they're well-known in those different sub-Twitters. And that's what I really like about it, is that it's kind of curated, but not isolated, to where you can be on different sub-Twitters, but you can still interact with people outside of it based on the other interests of the people that you follow. So like, maybe I follow somebody because they talk about one artist that I like, and then I look at my posts in my following section, and then all these people that I followed obviously have more than one interest. And so then I can see what other people are interested in, maybe that I don't have any knowledge about. And genuinely, that's how I found some of my favorite albums recently, is just like taking random Twitter user suggestions and recommendations and looking at like Topsters and stuff. And I really love it. And it makes me feel so much more social on social media, when maybe I had a lot of anxiety to do so before. Because again, on YouTube, I guarantee you this video and hundreds and thousands, if not millions, of other YouTube videos are posted all the time that get a total of maybe like 4 views, because the person just can't get that traction. It's like Twitter makes it feel more readily available to talk and interact with people on an individual level, where like maybe in a comment section you're interacting with other commenters, but you're not interacting with the creator of the video. Because I guarantee you, especially a lot of more popular people, they're not going to read all 4,000 comments on one video. I don't know. It just, I just feel like it opens up a lot more avenue for conversation. The only thing I don't really care for on Twitter is the character limit. I think that it's not really been a problem for me, but I feel like if I were to want to have maybe a deeper conversation with somebody, but didn't have like the courage to DM them, I feel like maybe a longer tweet would be nice. I just, and maybe there's ways to get around that, I don't know. Another thing that I like about Twitter is that I don't really see ads on there as much anymore, so it doesn't make me feel as like shitty. There are definitely like promoted tweets by the stupid like blue check marks and stuff, and like I know that you can subscribe to stuff, and there's like Twitter AI. I'm not gonna get into all of that because that's not my point. That's not my subject. I'm gonna try and stay in my lane. But in general, I feel like that there's just a lot of like digital clutter now, like what I was talking about with the watch later stuff, to where I feel like trying to limit that is really important, because I feel like you can't, especially in the day that we live in now, you can't totally get rid of social media, because then you'd be isolating yourself from a very large chunk of the population, especially if you're somebody like me who can't interact with a lot of the community around me right now in my personal life. Being online allows me to still have that social connection that I want. And so, like, if I didn't have any, like, social media and I didn't have, like, all the online friends that I do, then I would lose out on so much of that social interaction in my day-to-day life. But I feel like also that there's, like I said, digital clutter, where it's like these Instagram reels that I've scrolled and spent probably hundreds of hours on, like, I cannot remember every reel that I've ever watched. I can't remember every YouTube video that I've ever watched. And a lot of them were just there to fill that time of mine. And so my overall, like, thesis statement, I guess, is just to try and find things to substitute that time. I have not taken the first step yet of like deleting Instagram or deleting YouTube, because I genuinely think I might delete YouTube and Instagram because they just don't serve any purpose in my life right now, because I'm recognizing all they do is just make me feel bad. And so it's like I said, I'm not going to interact with a tweet if all it does is make me feel bad. So why am I going to interact with a social media platform if all it does is make me feel bad? So, you know, it's so hard cutting something that's like almost a part of my everyday routine out of my life entirely, all at once. It's like telling somebody with an addiction, like obviously they can't just stop all of a sudden, because I'm going to be bored and I'm going to want to go on YouTube, but I can't go on YouTube because I don't use YouTube anymore. But I want to go on YouTube, so then I just end up logging back into YouTube. You know, I can't just do it all at once. And so I've been trying to limit my YouTube and Instagram, like my time on there as much as possible recently. But I do have my moments, obviously, where I doom scroll for hours or whatever, especially when I have like more free time now that my that my college is out for the summer. And so now that I have more free time, I fill that void with this like non-consequential content. And so it'll take me a lot of time, obviously, to cut it out of my life. But when I do, I ultimately hope that I can substitute it with things that make me feel more fulfilled. I hope that I can feel more creative or motivated or like, I don't know, just happier in general. Oh, there it is again. Oops. Anyways, I think those are mostly all of my points that I had. Like I said, I didn't want to prepare for this. And I do want to make more videos. It is something that I am really interested in doing. It's just, I don't really want to put a lot of effort into it. I just kind of want to vibe. I don't really want to have to worry about it too much. Oh yeah, one more thing. I love Ethel Cain a lot. Very much like one of my greatest artistic inspirations, I guess. And I love her YouTube videos because they're just so chill. They feel like, you know, like I can focus on them and I can focus on what she's talking about, even if she's just staring at a webcam and talking about like ghost stories or whatever. I don't know what it is about her content, and it's like I want to almost be like her and be able to kind of make the same content. And that's what I want these videos to be, to where it's just talking. And, you know, you can put this on in the background while you listen to it, but I don't know. I'm not sure exactly how I feel about it, because it's like I just want to emulate that style of we're just chatting, we're just talking, I'm just getting my thoughts out. And like I said, maybe I look back on it and I immediately disagree with something that I said in my video, but that's something that maybe I can make another video about, and then come back and say, hey, maybe I didn't say this the right way, or my opinion has changed. And that's something that I think is really fun and interesting, is that we're always growing as people, even immediately after certain actions are taken. I'm not going to say anything like cancelable. It's just, maybe I look back and I disagree with what I said about commentary YouTube, or I don't know. I think I said something about airplanes earlier. I don't really remember what that was about. But anyways, if you listened to this video, I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you could maybe relate to it a little bit, because I know that there's just a lot of people call it slop content out right now. So I don't know. I just hope that you can, if anything, just relate to this, relate to what I'm talking about, relate to kind of like the apathy of being online. Because right now it's just not fun. There's just so much happening in the world right now, and all the distractions that we try to use feel terrible. Like, I have to feel guilty for going on YouTube and stuff. I don't know. And I know it's also ironic that I'm saying I don't want to use YouTube anymore, and I'm posting a YouTube video about how much I don't like YouTube. There can be exceptions. Anyways, I think that's all I have to say for now. I'm going to end it here. Thank you for listening. Okay, goodbye.